everybody, today we're reading the third chapter of James and the Giant Peach. I know that it's a different book, but now will be even more interesting. Let's start it. At this point that the first thing of all, the rather peculiar thing led to so many other much more peculiar things happen to him. For suddenly, just behind him, James heard a rustling of leaves, and he turned around and saw an old man in a crazy dark green suit emerging from the bushes. He was a very small old man, but he had a huge bald head with a face that was covered with all over with bristly black whiskers. He stopped when he was about 3 yards away, and he stood there leaning on his stick, staring hard at James. When he spoke, his voice was very slow and creaky. "Come closer to me, little boy," he said, beckoning to James with a finger. "Come right up close to me, and I will show you something wonderful." James was too frightened to move. The man hobbled a step or two nearer, and he put a hand into his pocket of his jacket and took out a small white paper bag. "You see this?" he whispered, waving the bag gently to and fro in front of James' face. "You know what this is, my dear. You know what is inside this bag." Then he came nearer still, leaning forward and pushing his face so close to James that James could feel the breath blowing on his cheeks. And the breath smelled musty and stale and slightly mildewy, like air in an old cellar. "Take a look, my dear," he said, opening the bag and tilting it toward James. Inside it, James could see a mass of tiny green things that looked like little stones or crystals, which each one was about the size of a grain of rice. They were extraordinarily beautiful, and there was a strange brightness about them, a sort of luminous quality that made them glow and sparkle in the most wonderful way. "Listen to them," the old man whispered. "Listen to move. Listen to them move." Huh? James stared into the bag and was sure enough there was a faint rustling sound coming from inside it. And then he noticed that there were all the thousands and little green things were slowly, very slowly stirring about and moving over each other as though they were alive. But there's more power and energy in those things, power and magic in those things than there is in the rest of the world put together," the old man said softly. But what are they?" James mumbled, finding his voice at last. "Where do they come from?" "Aha!" the old man whispered. "You'll never guess that." He was crouching a little now and pushing his face still closer and closer to James until the tip of his long nose was actually touching the skin of James' forehead. Then suddenly jumped back and began waving his stick madly in the air. "Crocodile tongues!" he cried. 1,000 long, slimy crocodile tongues boiled up in the skull of a dead witch for 20 days and nights with eyeballs of a lizard, and the fingers of a young monkey, a gizzard of a pig, and the beak of a green parrot. carrot, the juice of a porcupine, and 3 spoonfuls of sugar. Stew for another week and let the moon do the rest. All at once he pushed the white paper bag into James' hand and said, "Here, you take it. It's yours." Alright, I think that's the rest of the chapter. I hope you liked it. Bye.